All right, everybody, it's Friday and it is time for Free Tip Friday. There is, fair warning, there's a mosquito flying around here that's making me crazy. So if I drop everything and try and swat it, that's what I'm doing. It's not just me being kind of crazy. Um, but I am going to be kind of crazy because I'm super in love with this project. So let me start by saying hello to everyone. Great to have you all here. It is going to be a warm one today here in Fresno. The hot weather has started, my friends. It is, I don't know, 90. It's going to get up to the hundreds. It's going to be warm. Warm. Super warm. Oh, there's my buddy CR. CR, I hope you're staying cool. It's going to be kind of crazy. Thanks. I thought I'd put this scarf, my hair, it's kind of growing out, so it's kind of making me a little crazy. So, but let me put this here. Oh, thanks. It's not a top. It's actually a dress. Cute dress, summer dress, right? To be honest, I think I got it on Amazon. I can link it in our Amazon store because it's really super comfortable. I think that's where I got it. So yeah, fun for the summer. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say, let's see. Oh, Susan, tell your husband that the lady says hello. Hello, Hubs. Let's see. Let me pull myself together here for just a moment and say, you can find us as always. There I am on all of our socials, Facebook, our Facebook group, our Pinterest pages, our Instagram feed. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification button over on YouTube. You're going to want to watch this one again and again because this is going to be a great one. If you have any questions, hit us up over at info@beadshop.com. A couple of things for you folks to know what we've got going on here. Miranda is going to be off for a week. Her brother is graduating from high school. So we're super excited that she's able to go see her family and everything, but she's off. So what that means is Chris and I are holding down the fort here. Good news is that we're pretty caught up on orders. So don't worry, we're going to be working to get those out. We've got a lot of stuff prepped and ready to ship out today. So hopefully you won't see a big lag in anything. But if you do need to communicate anything to me, make sure you email it. Because sometimes when you leave it in your order notes, like, I need this fast, or, whatever it is you want to communicate, shoot us an email over at info@beadshop.com. That way I am sure to see it. Though first thing in the morning, what we do is we do go through and we're getting, we look at the orders, make sure there's no issues or anything like that. So please let us know via email, okay? And then Miranda promises she'll be back, right? And yes, Ma, the plumber is here. We had a little bit of a plumbing issue that we have to fix. So that's taken care of as well. JP, thank you so much for letting me know. Janice is saying, let everyone know the TRCast buttons and findings are just getting restocked. Today, we've got a lot of stuff that went back into stock. I'm going to put it in the newsletter tomorrow if you folks don't nab them all today. We did get some large hold pearls in. So if you look under pearls, they're there. You can also look under just in. They're listed there. We also got a bunch of 6mm restocks, which is really what prompted me to do this project today, because it's all about 6mm rounds for this. Also, the 6mm rounds are terrific for, wrap bracelets, stuff like that. Okay. So, and thank you, Carolyn. They do. Aren't they nice? We've got a couple of things. I might show them to you at the end. We got some turquoise single beads. They're from the turquoise mines from Mexico. They're really beautiful turquoise. They're a little spendy, but you only need one bead as a, as a, what do I want to say, a highlight in your piece, right? But take a look at those. They're all a little different. We've got two different mines. I'll show you the difference with those. And we also got some amber chips and stuff in. But I'll leave those to the end because I'm going to share those with you. First, let me share this project with you. So it's great to have everybody here and everybody saying hello. Hello, 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 everyone. Great to have you on a Friday. Let me zoom in what I've got here, and then let me show you. Let me get my zoomer here. So, as you know, gosh, it's the countdown has begun for my overseas trip, my France trip. This Sunday, I'm having a Zoom with my France participants. It's going to be really fun, talk about what we're going to be doing, all that cool stuff. But I'm also starting to think about what I'm bringing, right? So the earrings that I did on Wednesday, the bloom earrings, those are on the homepage on beadshop.com. I'm starting to kind of figure out what jewelry I'm going to bring, right? Because when you're traveling to Europe, I don't want to bring a ton of jewelry, number one. Number two, I don't want to bring super expensive or dear jewelry, right? But I do want to be fashionable. So I am kind of making my jewelry wardrobe to kind of take with me. And these bracelets are figuring into the equation in a big way. So I'm wearing today, and you've seen this one before. You know I wear this one a lot. This is Kate's favorite with the shadows and the vintage, distressed leather, I guess. One of my own coin buttons, all of that. So I'm going to make a couple of pieces that are going to stack along with this. Okay. Susan, the Amazon account, just so you know, so you can find it anytime. If you go to our homepage and you look at the top header and you look all the way to the right, it'll say social media. If you scroll down, you'll see a link right there. So I promise after the show, I'll look for it. I think this is there. I have another one too. It's black and gray. So I will link them there for you. Okay. And Janice has it here, /shop/beadshop.com. We're also going to put in, you're going to see this come up pretty quickly. We're going to be doing some pre-sales on Emily's Christmas tree project. And you're going to see a whole list of things that we're not going to carry for it, but you'll be able to find on Amazon that you can get that way. So those will be there. Okay, and we'll have that up fairly soon. We have to finish packaging. We're getting them finished now. Your Malaga mix, the pre-sale color story that you folks ordered, that's going out. And then we have a fresh batch of something that I think you're going to like. And then we also have the Christmas tree project, because later on in July, Emily's going to do that project. So, and we want, hopefully, for you to have your beads and everything by the time that Emily goes on live to show it to you. All right. That being said, let me highlight this right here. Okay. And thank you so much, Ellen. Of course, Ellen does all of our linking for our YouTube pages. And of course, it's Ellen does adds that Amazon link. So thank you, Ellen, at the end of the timestamp broadcasts. That's awesome. So I pulled a few of the 6mm, the restocks and the new that we got in. Quality is really nice. Holes are really nice. We're trying to keep these prices kind of not super crazy. Because as you know, my friends, everything is going up. but we're really doing our best to make everything as competitive as possible. So we, again, always appreciate your support on that. Lapis, African turquoise, one of my favorites. Onyx, this is fossil coral. You'll also see it called fossil jasper, this one. And this is a microfacet multi-stones. These are actually a large hole, which are fun, but these would also work. Anything that's 6 millimeter, you could go down to 4 mil. You could even probably go up to 8 mil, though I think that 6 mil and maybe 4 mil is kind of the sweet spot with this. So what I used, and I've really been loving this, this stone. I'm going to put these aside here so I don't lose them. Ever since it was introduced a few years ago, this is what they're calling butter jasper. It's kind of hard to read on the camera, but if I hold it up, it's kind of a yellowy green, very light colored, butter colored for sure. I am really wild for this color. And one of the things I'm thinking about with my jewelry that I'm taking with me is that I want things to be kind of neutral, right? So this Kate's Favorite is a perfect neutral. I keep saying I'm going to restring it someday, but that's a fantasy. So this, I don't know how many years ago I made it, but I made it a long time ago. And it is still holding up just great. You know what I might do though? I think I might trim the ends of this just now because they don't look that great. So I'm going to trim these. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. There we go. All right. Brand new, updated, perfect. So this butter jasper, I think will look really great stacked with this. And I'm going to show you how to do this. It's super fast. I also used our big shadows in black, which I love. And I'm going to stack it with, you remember that bracelet I made a while back? Well, I changed this one out for a copper. I wanted a little bit of a mixed metal, but I think I'm just going to do that single strand right there with this stitched leather. Though I think a pop of color, we've got the green strap, we've got some bright strap. A pop of color would look really great here too. But this stitched gray, I think, is awesome with just a single strand like that, right? So I think it's going to be a great stack. I'll also probably have my Apple Watch on here, and I've got a black band for it, so I think it'll all go kind of nicely. So that's what I've got going here with this stack. So let me show you what you need for these. It's really simple. I will make a project page after the broadcast, though everything is listed on the homepage right now. But I was worried that, you know how sometimes I like to change things up in the broadcast, so I didn't want to make the project page beforehand, but I will definitely make it right post-broadcast. So I'm using the 4 millimeter leather. Okay, and the 4 millimeter leather. Oh, did you see that mosquito just? Oh, come on, buddy. Oh, one more try. Hang on. Look at those pretty beads. I'm going to try and get this mosquito. Oh, he flew out of my range. Oh. The heat, the mosquitoes, it's enough to drive you crazy. All right. Well, if he comes back, he better watch himself. Okay, back to what I was using. This is the 4 millimeter round leather, distressed gray and violet, though we have it in other colors. We've got it in the denim. This violet's really dark. It almost looks black, right? So, but I love it. Ooh, there it, oh, I'm going to try not to say a bad swear. Because I am a mosquito magnet. I don't know about you, but in the family, I'm the mosquito magnet. It's crazy. So here, this is the 4 millimeter smooth barrel. That's what's going to go inside there, like that. You need some 6mm rounds, like this. You need, if you want to do the shadows, I use the big shadows, but you could also use regular shadows. You could use whatever shadows you'd like. I'm using the big shadows. And then I've got two different wax linens. I've got it in black and I've got it in, I think this is walnut. That's what this is. Okay. So let me clear the decks and let me show you. I'm going to use this one as kind of my sample here. And I'm going to measure this out for you so you can kind of see the length here. And you may need to adjust it for your bracelet length, right? But what I did, this right here is 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 6mm across. This is going to end up being about 7.5 inches for me because I want it with a stack like this. I want it to be loose. No wonder, Barbara, that's my blood type. I think I'm O positive, I think. Yeah, they love me, these little monsters. So the way that we start is I'm going to cut, I guess I'll work off the end of this because I don't really need to cut off the yard yet. Okay, so I'm going to work off this 4mm. What I did was I started up, I gave myself about 2 inches before I did my wrap, right? So let me get my wax linen. I'm going to need a couple of pieces to start. I need a shorter piece that's a little longer than a foot. This is about 14 inches. Okay, that one there. And then I'm going to need, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe about 3 feet. A yard should probably do it, I think. Except this is tangled, so let me untangle it. Hang on. Hang on. All right. Christine Whitney, you're the universal donor, I think, right? AB. Isn't that the universal donor? I think I'm the universal receiver, I think. I don't know. Something like that. 1, 2, 3 feet, about. Okay? Then I'm going to cut that away. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a silk wrap over here. Okay? So I'm going to lay this shorter strand is what I'm going to string the beads on. This strand, let me get a lighter background here. Bear with me here just a second. So you can really see this. There we go. That's better. So here, O is the universal donor. That's right. Right. Universal receiver. Okay. Good to know. Here is my short one. Here's my long one. I'm going to put my short strand and I'm going to measure about 2 inches up or so. If I have to cut a little bit here later, it's better to go a little bit longer. And we're going to do a silk wrap. Now, what we're going to do, and I thought this was pretty clever if I do say so myself. Here's the loop for my silk wrap. And I am going to wrap towards that loop. So can you see here, here's my 4mm, here's my short strand, my 12-inch strand, and here's the loop for my silk wrap. Short end, long end. Now in our, on the website, I'm trying to zoom in here. There we go. In our learning section, right? We have a great demo, a great skill builder on doing the silk wrap. So if you need a little bit of a refresher, but let me show you here. Leather, the one that I'm going to be stringing on later, my long tail, my short tail, and the loop under my thumb. I'm going to come with this long tail. I'm going to wrap around very tightly to get everything nice and tight around this, right? And I want, though it doesn't really matter at this point because any point of this can be the top, but I want this short strand to kind of be around the top. Okay. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to wrap. Okay. And I want to wrap, I don't know, maybe about a ½ inch, whatever looks right to you. Okay. This looks about right to me. Okay. Like this. Now, here's my loop. So what I'm going to do is the one that I've wrapped with, I'm going to wrap towards my loop. I'm going to loop it through the loop, right? Because I've wrapped towards the loop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull, I think it's this one is the loop. No, this one is the loop. One of these. There it goes. And I'm going to tighten that silk wrap so that the wrap is underneath. Okay. Tighten that up. Now, usually when you make a silk wrap, there we go. When you make a silk wrap, you cut away. Let me make sure that went underneath there. Black on black on black. It's hard to see. I'm going to get myself a pair of pliers and just help myself pull that that little end underneath. Let me just make sure, because I want it to sit correctly. So if you have trouble pulling it like I'm having right here, yeah, that's not the right one. It's this one. Okay, there we go. I can use the pliers. There we go. All right. So see here how this is the one I'm stringing on, is laying here, right? And then this one is the one I'm going to be wrapping around. Because you can see here on the sample, there's the silk wrap, and there's that short strand is what's holding all of those beads together. The long strand is what I'm wrapping around with. Okay, so see, the loop gets pulled right inside here. Now, again, if this were a regular silk wrap, I would just flip everything away, right? But what I have instead is I've got this one trapped underneath, this spare one, and then this long one that I've wrapped with, I'm going to use that to continue on to wrap. So I don't need to add another strand there. It's already in place. So let me, I'm just going to come in and clip away that extra just so it stays out of the way. Okay. So now on the short strand, and you can do this with as many beads as you like, but when the way that I want to wear this, I want to have more beads, so I'm doing 12. If you want fewer beads, just move this silk wrap a little closer to the center, right? And keep wrapping. So we've got this. I'm going to string on all 12 just because I want them all on there. So that's 4. See if I can get them through. There we go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12. Look at how pretty the striations are on these. Looks like there was some good chat here. Let me go back and see what's going on. Yeah, we haven't done this for a while. We used to do this with Bead Doctor, Janice, so maybe it's time to bring that Bead Doctor back where people submit questions. Maybe after I get back from France, we could do Bead Doctor on a Friday. It would be really fun. We used to do it the first Friday of the month, but we haven't for a while. So so that would be fun. That would be fun to do. I'll try and remember that. I'll try and remember to do that. Let's see, just looking here. There we go, just looking. Okay. Yeah, I love this butter jasper so much. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap these individually around. Okay, we're going to catch them. So watch how I wrap this. I come with my strand, I go underneath the strand like this, pull it under, kind of get my bead on the top of the leather, pull this cord back, and go around. Okay, now we're going to slide up another bead, and I'm going to go around. See, I go all the way around. Then I come from this side. The cord is coming from the upside of the leather. I'll go around the cord. I pull it back to create some tension, right? And wrap it all the way around. Slide up a bead. Bring the cord to the front. Go under the stringing cord. Okay. Now this, since I'm doing it this way, is I get the cord, underneath that stringing cord and pull it tight. What the tension does here is it keeps these beads in the middle. Like if you could just pull all of these up and kind of wrap it around, but I think it works better with the tension pulling it from the left and the right to keep it in the center. Okay, but this is just something I kind of made up. So if you find something that works out a little bit better for you, do it. Let me know. Okay, so this is coming here. My hands are a little gummy because of this wax. So tighten it up. Bring it underneath that center cord. Slide that bead up. Bring this cord around. Okay. Cord comes around under the stringing thread, and you know you're doing it right because you alternate directions. Like this one is going to the back here and around like this. I'll slide up my next bead, and you can see here I'm on this side now, and I come around and pull it to the bottom. And you just want to keep your tension nice and even and tight. See those wraps? Okay, and I'll do it again. Okay, this is one I've started. So now I've come around and underneath like this, and then I go back, going away from me. Now I pull the thread towards me, and I go around to the back. Okay, and that's what kind of hooks this thread in the middle. Slide up my bead, bring the thread around, and then I do it again, but this time it's going from this side. Okay, here from the back, underneath the thread the beads are on, double it back over that stringing thread, and all the way around. Okay, slide up another thread, another bead. I keep going around. I bring this thread underneath and back and up. Slide on another bead and bring that thread all the way around so it lands above the new bead that you've put on. Okay. Don't make this harder than it is, right? It's essentially you're just kind of weaving this or wrapping this back and forth, right? So once you get under there, get under. Try not to mix your beads, your cords up rather. Slide this up. Bring it around. Go up above the new bead. String around the stringing bead. You could also macrame these on, right? If this wrapping is kind of flummoxing you. And the wax linen is nice and sticky, so everything stays in place really well. Go underneath, pull it back down, wrap completely around, right? Slide your new bead up. And then I go around again and under. And tighten. Okay, and you can see there's everything on the side like that. Yeah, and you can turn it. Yeah, a half hitch could certainly work, right? You don't have to just loop it. You could tie a knot there too. Let me tighten everything here. This is the center. And you can kind of tighten that center strand to pull everything in line. Hang on, let me put it kind of flat. This is the center. Oops, the bead fell off. There we go. Now I'll put my last bead on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you can kind of see how it goes 2 wraps and 1, 2 wraps and 1. It's actually 3 wraps. 3 wraps and 1, 3 wraps and 1, 3 wraps and 1. And it's the same on the other side. It's just reversed, right? So I'm going to come around. I'm going this way now. I come all the way around here. This is where I slide down my bead. And I have to lock in that thread, right? So that's why I wrap. See how in between here, I go here, not here, right? All the way around, right? Now I come and I go underneath the thread, pull it back down, and tighten. Okay. So there we have that. All right. Now, you could definitely do this on flat strap. For sure you could, right? So now I'm going to silk wrap from here up, okay? And I'm going to use the tail because I've got plenty of cord here. So I'm going to cut the tail off of one. And what I do so I know which threads are not the ones that I'm silk wrapping with, I'm going to tie these together, okay? So I know that these are just kind of going to hang out here, okay? Now I'm going to get my leather, or my Irish wax linen ready to silk wrap. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to lay this loop towards the beads. I'm going to measure with my fingers. I need to start my silk wrap about right here. It's going to silk wrap up so it's nice and tight there. So I'll come in. I know that I don't silk wrap with those two because those are the two that have the knot. I don't silk wrap with the short one because that's the one I'm going to pull. I silk wrap with this long one. Okay. You could use different colors of leather of Irish wax linen, but if you kind of knot them that way, you won't get everything mixed up. Ask me how I know. I got the first one I did, I got all of the strands mixed up. So see, I'm just wrapping and wrapping and wrapping till I'm kind of close. There's my loop. I'm going to come in. I'm going to go through that loop like so. And now I'm going to pull on this one here. It's the other side of the loop to tighten it down. And see how I pull in both directions. Everything is nice and tight underneath there. And look at how nice this looks. And you can achieve this wrapping however you want. I like this back and forth wrap, but you could macrame, whatever works for you. Okay, so here's this. So now I'm going to come in and I'm also going to cut these away. This one. That. And those. So I've got these two like this. Okay. So I'm going to double check my length here. I'm just going to essentially wrap this around, double check where this is going to fit. The clasp is going to be about right to there. So that looks about right. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut this away. You can cut it with, I'm going to cut it with my wire cutters, if I could find the right wire cutters. Bear with me here just a second. Get the right ones. Hang on, I got a pair over here. Because I want a nice, flat, flush end on this leather when I glue. So we've got to prep it right? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to come in with my flush cutter. I'm going to cut that one flat and that one flat. Now let's measure. Okay, just to double check. What did I say? I wanted this to be about 7.5 inches because with all of this stack and with all of the stuff that's going on here, I might need it a little bit longer. And yeah, that's good. It just clocks in right at 7. And this clasp will add about 7.5 inches once it's glued in. So now let me get my zap And we're going to come in and I want to get my glue. Remember, 4mm clasp. We have these in 4 and 5. I'm going to get a nice dollop of glue on the end. I keep my clasp together, but you don't want to get any spare glue on the clasp because you don't want to glue it closed, right? So now I'm going to do this side. Glue it in. I should have glued one of these pre-show, but it's all right. Put it in. And we're going to let that sit. Look at how nice this black clasp looks with that black macrame. This could also be Chinese knotting cord, right? This will make such a great guy bracelet, right? Let me go ahead and I'm going to do these other ones here. Let me measure this out. I think I have it off screen here because I just want to make sure that I'm good. I'm going to come in and, yeah, these also would be great for Father's Day. Hopefully I measured that right. Let me just measure it one more time. See, that's a little long. It felt a little long. That's 7.5 right there. I'm going to take a little bit off there and a little bit off there. Let me re-measure. Yeah, this one's just a little. Let me get that even. It's that little bit that needs to come off. Okay. Now, get that zap. Get the clasp. We have a couple of different gunmetals, right? Gunmetal or black clasps that look great. The Irish wax linen I'm using the black is this, and the one on this one with the black shadows is walnut. It's on, if you go to Shop the Show on the homepage, I think it's listed there. Okay. Get that in there. Get it go around. There's a little bit of glue I'm going to get off there. All right, now we're just going to set that one down. Make sure I want to shape it nicely. So there's 2. Now let me get the other one glued. These also look great. I've worn them before. I've made them before. With just, I don't have it hanging here. I think it's hanging in my jewelry. I've just made this with no embellishment and just made bangles with these and the, you know, and the leather. They look great. Someone also asked about the braided leather. Here's one that's just a bangle with just the braided. Braided is 5mm right here. Look at that, drops on there really, really nicely, right? Let me focus this. And let me get the black. Let me cut all of the extra. First, let me put the lid on the blue. That would be a good thing. Okay. And you could definitely use 5mm leather. This is 5mm, the braided, so you could use that, right? 4mm, that's this one here. You know, see what you have, or use some flat leather. Use whatever you like. Okay, but I think they look good. I like these too. I'm glad you folks are picking up what I'm putting down. Let's clip all of this away. And this one, this is on the violet, but you can see it doesn't really look violet. It kind of looks like a dark brown. Sherry, if you're having the magnet part, does the magnet come out? I haven't really had an issue with these coming out, and I wear them a lot because see how it has this lip around it? Make sure that the two sides that you have is that it's both 4mm, right? That one isn't 4mm and one isn't 5. Okay, maybe that might be the issue. Just double check that. This copper clasp, I think this one's called the I don't know, I'll have to look. If you go to findings, let me look for it, and I'll list it. If we go to components and findings, I'm going there now, and I go to clasps, and on the left-hand side, I sort by magnetic, and I scroll, and I scroll, and I scroll, and I keep scrolling. It's called the small round barrel. I found it right here. I'll put it in the chat, JP, unless you've beaten me to it. Oh, you have. You beat me to it already. Right? Yeah, I like this one a lot. That's the small round barrel, which I like it a lot. It's a great clasp. Okay. Let me glue this one in. Again, 7 inches. That looks about right. I always cut a little bit longer so I can refine the length. Just a little. There we go. Cutting off that and cutting off that. As I say, these sit more like a bangle, so you need a little more room than you think. Put the glue on. Slide that clasp. Make sure it makes contact with the back of the clasp. Okay. Oh, I like, Oliver, that you like it. They do have an organic outdoorsy, right? That's what I was hoping for. And also kind of a travel vibe, right? I think these are perfect for travel. Okay. And let me put this in like so. And then we're going to take a look at the stats. Right? Shape it. I like to shape it once the clasp is in, make sure everything is sitting correctly. Okay, there's that one. All right. Oh, let me glue this one in. Hang on. I know I'm off camera, but bear with me here just a second. This one's back in its special delivery clasp. There we go. That's in there. All right. Let's take a look at the first one that I did. Here, let me zoom out. All right. Remember, big shadows is what I use, not the regular. But you could use the regular. Like you could scale all of this down and use 4mm rounds and regular shadows for sure. Look at how good, if I do say so myself, all of these look as a stack, right? So let me undo this one. Let me put this one on. Should kind of catch, just like so. Yeah, look at how great that looks on this stack. Love. And if these move around a little bit, especially if they're like, see, I can move them. It's really okay by me. You could do like a shorter, just say like a length of 5 if you want it to kind of sit in the center. But I think the longer you make these, the longer in length, the more these are going to kind of walk around, which is fine with me. Let's put this one on. I know I shouldn't screw with these because I just glued them, but that's the beauty of Zap glue. Let's see if I can get this open. I have trouble sometimes getting these open because they are so tight. So yeah, Sherry, definitely get in touch with Janice and we'll troubleshoot your clasp issue for sure. Because, ooh, seeing it, sometimes it wants to pinch me. There we go. There's that one. With that, let me see if I can get this one on. There we go. I think it's a good looking stack, right? Good time for a screenshot. Let me get that purple because this will also work. There we go. I think it's a good looking stack. Ready for Europe. Right, let's see. Deirdre is asking, how would just macrame look over the top of the round without the beads? Oh yeah, 100%. Let me see what I have here on my wall of little samples. I've done that. Hang on. Oh, here's the one that's just the bangle. Here it is. There's that one. I have one that I've macrameed with leather. Some of you folks remember that? Here, let me see what I got here. Hold, please. Yeah, here we go. Look. This is similar, but this was one that I wrapped several times. But can you see here, like this macrame portion? That's just the Bollywood section when I did kind of a prairie with just macrameing with, with just the Ceylon. This I really love. I did this, I think this is just the spiral stitch going around. That's with leather. This one is half hitched, I think. Like this. So if you go to Kate's Knots, and I bet this one is under our prairie projects that I did, that looks pretty good. You can see I've got an affinity for these. Let me see if I have any more samples here that I want to show you. It stacks, of course, really well with the adventure bracelet. I made this one a billion years ago with the strap, where I sewed this on. That's a good one. Let's see. Anything else? It's a good thing I've got all these samples sitting here, right? I think that's good. I think that's given you some ideas. Oh, let me show you. This is another Kate's favorite. This is the Kate's favorite that I took a little more forward, or a little crazier. Let me focus this here. This is the other one that I did that has the 2 rows like this. And we just got like the tiara cast, some of these transitions and stuff back in, right? So I did this one also. This is the flat macrame with leather. I like this one a lot. I'll list all of these in the newsletter tomorrow for you folks and link to this broadcast. This is 3 rows across, tiny shadows, and 8/0. And then I split those out and did the 8/0 and the tiny shadows there, right? If we really just wanted to go crazy, I mean, it is a little crazy, but let me see. Let me see if I can get this on. More is more. Very Iris Apfel, right? With this. Come on. Sorry, I've got to get back into my line of vision. But yeah, I mean, you could go as crazy as you wanted to. But if you're traveling this summer, vacationing anywhere, it's kind of nice to have jewelry that you love, right? Because it makes you feel polished. But it's also nice to have, there we go. It's also nice to have, let me get rid of that one. You know, jewelry that's not overly dear, right? Like if something happened to one of these, or I left it somewhere or whatever, it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? I'd be sad, but you can certainly make another one, right? So leave the gold bangles at home, and put your wrap on. I think this looks great for the European trip. I'm going to have to probably bring all of these together. I'll have to do a photo shoot in France for that. But here it is. Here's all of this. I think it looks great. One more time for a screenshot there. And that'll do it. Okay. I know it is. I know. I may need another suitcase for the bracelets. Usually I just have a small little thing for my jewelry and I just pop it right into my carry-on, right? Yeah, the Bollywood, the spiral with the beads, I think I did it. It might be in this one. Maybe. I don't know. I think we have. I would definitely experiment with it. I don't do the spiral peyote stitch or the spiral macrame stitch as much as I should because it's so fun, right? And Janice did it here. Check out her 5-stack or the 5-stitch that she recently did. That'll look good. Okay. Well, there we have it, my friends. There we have it. I'll add all this information. I'll link some of these projects on the homepage now, and I'll create a project page for, I'm just going to call it Summer Stack, I think, for the Summer Stack bracelet. So it'll be up in a little bit. I'll link it all in the newsletter tomorrow. We are going to have a stitch-in tomorrow. Whether or not I launch that Frida kit remains to be seen. I'm feeling a little bit behind the 8 ball, but I want to get those launched. So we'll see what happens. Tune into the newsletter. Tune into me tomorrow. Regardless, we're going to be stitching something, right? And thank you, JP. I will post this. I'll do this right when I get off I'll post my dress so we can all be twins, right? I'm so glad you folks love this. It was really fun to make with you today. Um, I was hoping that you'd like it as much as I do. It's a pretty attractive stack, if I do say so myself. Thank you, thank you. All right, my friends, lots of love to you. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see you tomorrow for our stitch in normal time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, and we'll see exactly what we're going to stitch. Remember, you can catch up with us all over on social: Facebook, the Bead Table, our bead group, over on Instagram. Tag us if you make this project or any other project with Bead Shop products or projects. We'd love to hear about it. Give us a tag. Hit up our Pinterest pages for more great pins and inspiration. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification button over on YouTube. Share this content out. You know, even if you're not in the market for beads right now, share this content, give a thumbs up. All of that interaction really helps people find us. And that is the name of the game, my friends, is getting our ranking on social a little bit higher every day. Hit us up all over the web at beadshop.com. And if you have any questions, we check our emails Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends if I'm feeling like I really need to check. But hit us up at info@beadshop.com, and we do our best to get back to you as soon as we can. Do remember, Amanda's off next week, so it's Chris and I. We are going to be doing our very best to get everything out and fast. If you have any questions, though, make sure to shoot them over in an email rather than in your order notes, just so I don't miss them. Okay. That does it for me. I will see you guys tomorrow for Saturday Stitch In. And in the meantime, have a fantastic Friday, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.